We are happy to be here with you for this Michigan Division B group for this lovely 2020. And I am your caster, Rich Red, here with my co-caster, Mercenary. How are you doing, good friend?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to hear from you again, bud, as we are stepping here into some band phase going on. Interesting first bands, Silas and Senna. Senna, definitely I could see. Echo as well, probably for the jungle. Uh, Hopefully all the rest of you are doing well out there with the recent health concerns and the whatnot.
Yes,
We, yeah,
indeed.
we're not going anywhere though.
Nope. We're just going to be right here for where you can have a lovely outlet for some competitive League of Legends. And it looks like we're going to get both now teams with their full band picks coming out, as we've got Yumi as the final here for Valpo Esports with Set for Infernal. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what this blind pick comes out by Valpo Esports to really kind of lean into how Infernal is going to try and counter that hesitation. And it's actually going to be Darius. This is an interesting pick, especially since we've seen a lot of changes coming out here from Darius over the last couple of patches.
It's always great to see Darius up in here, especially with the bleed. A very strong top laner, definitely for sure. Definitely good for any new players as well, as his abilities are kind of no nonsense. It's definitely going to be an interesting time to see who they're going to pick against it. But it looks like they're going to bring out Zach in the jungle for the side of Infernal here. Ooh, never mind. Quick swap to Camille. Ooh, definitely the grand duelist, or second grand duelist.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the other part of it too is there's a lot of evasion and mobility, especially if you see this Darius in the top lane, which, like you just mentioned a moment ago, where he is just a really, really beefy, sturdy type of top lane brawler. And with Camille having that mobility, utilizing the walls, specifically the environment, it can really cause a lot of harassment and difficulty for Darius to find an execution onto that character, as Volibear is actually going to come out as well from Infernal.
Ooh, Volibear, a definitely strong jungler, trying not to have a snowball, especially during this patch or these past few patches. Snowballing has been still pretty big, and Volibear definitely adds to that. Looks like they're going to be hovering Yasuo over there on the side of Valpo. Definitely a flex pick, but instead he's going to pick Zac out. Definitely a strong tank jungler. Definitely good for some engage and what have you. He's always fun to mess with.
He really is. I mean, honestly, Zach's been in a good spot for a while these last couple of patches with the jungle. There's a lot of opportunity with it. We see some hard engages going into this to really try and lean into, that early advancement to try and pick a fight. And especially now that you combine Rakan. We've seen this as well before with matches we've cast, this Rakan-Zach combination, because of that hard engagement that we can see, especially when it comes to a late game team fight.
The hard engage is a strong knockups. Though it's a bit interesting having Rakan being picked out first instead of the Xayah, so they might be on the side of Infernal here who might ban out the Xayah, but with about 5 seconds left here, we're going to see who they're going to pick, and it might just be their mid laner, and it is! An Orianna mid, definitely a strong team fighting mid, and we're looking here at the top, mid, and a jungle for the side of Infernal. Definitely a strong comp for some picks and whatnot, and definitely good for team fights as well, especially with Volibear's Lightning and Orianna's ult. Definitely very good for them.
And just this patient decision, definite communication amongst the team to see what it's actually going to be. And I really like that pick and focusing on that bot lane right now. There has been quite a significant, focus to it. You've got the Morgana, you've got the Senna, you've got this Vayne now, and Yumi. There's a lot of concentration to see who can really get the better opportunity. And that's going to be now a second bot lane ban here, going to prevent this lovers duo, specifically to try and counter Valpo's decision to take Rakan.
And some definite strong bot lane here coming out, bot lane bans coming out from both teams, especially with Vayne always being a strong pick. Kai'Sa and Xayah also being some strong picks as well. We might see another bot lane ban coming up here in just about a second. No, it's going to be the Leona instead. Leona is definitely a good tank support, definitely for sure. Strong engage and whatnot. That would just add to their that would just be a nice blocker for the plethora, but looks like they might be hovering and picking the Sivir instead. Without that Yumi, it's going to be an interesting combo to see who that support's going to be. We might be seeing a Braum here, which would be definitely interesting and pretty good for the side of Infernal.
I agree. And I really like the Sivir pick because there's going to be a lot of wave shove. That's an easy, quick clear from the Sivir. And again, you've got that Braum, like you suggested, as a potential option to really have some nice cover. There is still high mobility from the Sivir, which we typically see Braum trying to play a little bit more like we've seen with an Aphelios before, because the Aphelios lacks mobility here. Ezreal's going to really try and counter this Sivir because of that, again, mobility dynamic. And Syndra being picked last here to try and counter that Orianna in middle, I really feel like that was a good selection, because a lot of trading between these two I've seen in competitive play, the Syndra typically comes out on top, especially in that early to mid game.
Side of Valpo here is definitely going to be looking for a lot of mobility and a lot of damage, especially coming out with that Syndra, the Darius, and the Ezreal. And it looks like it's going to be a Karma support, something we haven't seen here, I think, ever, actually. I haven't seen it, but Karma is definitely a strong one, definitely for the shields and the speeds up. While Sivir does have her ultimate for some movement, that Karma shield is going to add a lot more as well. Looking at both these teams here, it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to be going here. Both teams have a pretty strong team fight, but I think that edge might go over to Valpo, especially for that mid and top lane. That Syndra is definitely stronger than that Orianna for damage, and that Darius definitely hurts a lot, even if Camille can jump around.
I think the biggest thing that to really focus on here is watching that gank potential between both of these. We typically have seen Zach be a little bit more hesitant to get that, prior level 3 gank. Volibear, I think, has an opportunity to do so, but with depending upon which one of those jungles starts to gain some momentum in one of these lanes is really, I think, going to depict how it's going into that mid lane, especially when it comes to the Syndra Orianna matchup. And with this time reaching 0 here, before we get it underway, we are going to go to a brief break and allowing these two teams to get ready and be underway. And we'll be back in just a moment to bring you this action between Infernal and Valpo Esports live.
And welcome back, everyone, as we are down on the Rift. Looking here at our wonderful match of a Michigan Division B between Valpo Esports and Team Infernal. I am Mercenary. I'm here with Rich, Rad, Rocket, and Roland. Especially, we're out here dealing with some growing health concerns, but we're always here playing some wonderful matches. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing fantastic, as it was a lovely break settling in, but now we're going to get to see some interesting setup here. We've got Valpo Esports going up to the top lane with all 5 members going to try and potentially rotate down to where that red buff is and the Camille out in the open. This could be very difficult for an early start. The opportunity is there, though, with the Darius getting a gripple or also having the Zac diving in for the stun. So you can just see this slow and steady grouped movement in the back line, and it's getting scarier and scarier for this Camille by the second.
They are just moving slowly in, very meticulously, even taking the long way around. Has no idea that they're there. She might be walking in if someone catches them.
There's the
Ooh.
stun, looking for the follow-up, but has the chance to evade over the wall. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Just the capability of maneuvering out of so much. There is a good chance for follow-up after the stun, but there was still too much of a gap to bring the Camille close enough to prevent that wall dive.
Yeah, and it looks like bot lane might even be late to lane here. They might just make it back just in time. But it was honestly kind of a shot in the dark, especially to grab a Camille who normally starts E anyways.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where, again, you like to hesitate on the ability grab just in case of situations such as that. And one of the big things, though, that tells Infernal is the type of play style that I think we're going to see from Valpo. Really just looking in for opportunities, strategic, coordinated play. And you're going to have Infernal really need to be aware of that going into this, especially with the communication. But you can actually see the swap signs of the junglers. You've got that Volibear play by Sage on the bot, really going to force that red buff, as you have the Zac play in the top section from Valpo.
Trades in the bot lane are definitely going to be very interesting, especially between Valpo and Infernal here. Especially because Karma can land those all Qs constantly, getting more damage on Rakan. Rakan can't really fight back. Sure, he has his Q, but that's a significant less range than any other skill shot champions around here. A little bit of technical difficulties coming on over on our side here, guys. Sorry about that. But as we're looking at the match going on right now, bot lane's getting pushed in on the side of Valpo, and Darius is definitely abusing his top lane privileges as he normally does. Taking some shots in the dark, Camille's gonna have to back off. She's gonna end up with a big chunk of damage and some bleed going on, as Darius definitely wants to go in and try to get some damage off. And unfortunately, looks like Camille's gonna be just fine, especially on her tower, getting that extra shield. As we're just gonna stay hooked up on top here, as bot lane's got to back off, along with mid lane getting shoved in. And as we're looking at the farm numbers here, everything seems pretty even. A little bit of a heavy bit of a wave landing towards the side of Valpo, side of Infernal here. Sorry about that. Just to get a little bit top lane here. Ooh, a little bit loud there. Anyways, as we are looking here, some damage coming out. Definitely side of the bot lane there. Everything's staying evenly traded. Sorry, you guys can't hear Rich Rad's wonderful and beautiful voice doing some technical difficulty searching here as we're going on. Darius doing some serious damage and whatnot. Everything's going pretty smoothly. No ganks coming in from the junglers. Gold staying pretty even as well. Oop, do. Doing a bit of technical difficulty searching here as we are going on. Looks like Red, looks like he might have lost internet connection, which is a shame, but I will just have to cast a few seconds behind of what you guys are hearing, but you guys are seeing a few seconds before what I see. It's a confusing setup. Anywho, as we're looking here, everything's going on just nice, fine, and dandy. Some strong damage happening in there in the mid lane as we secure it all the way top lane, seeing all the scuffles happening there as both sides are keeping solid damage. Camille's get lined in with the E, getting some serious damage. Darius is going to heal just barely, getting his ult down is going to do some more damage here. Looks like Darius is going to be floating just above here, and he's going to end up with first blood as well. little bit of a scuffle happening down there in the bot lane, as to be announced, as Volibear is going to be coming in. Unfortunately, the ball and the E is not going to do much, as Syndra's going to be taking more and more damage. Get a block off with the E there, and she's going to get away just fine. Unfortunately, Volibear did take a lot of damage when I give it up. But as we're looking towards the dragon, Valpo realizes they have an opening, especially because the jungler is going to have to back off. And that's going to be an early Infernal Drake for the side of Valpo here. And even more damage happening up here on the top lane as a skirmish between Camille and Darius is definitely happening. The bleed is landing on Camille, and she's going to have to flash away as Darius flashes right at her. Whew, I can't even catch my breath. A few little things happening here and there. But as we come to, Darius is up by 1 kill and some strong farm. Farm is even in mid lane, bot lane. Farm is going to the side of Infernal here, especially with that Sivir. But also Valpo's rocking that 1 Infernal Drake, which is definitely good for them. But unfortunately, we will not be seeing an Infernal Soul. Pulse coming in from Darius. Camille's going to E away. Ooh, and the bleed's just going to be holding out. Let's see if she can survive through that bleed. And unfortunately, she is not going to, and she's going to go down to that Darius. Definitely pretty terrifying and very spooky on both ends. And the whole time. Who? Dang nabbit. Khan's gonna be diving in there, trying to get a knock up. Unfortunately, he's just gonna hit the bit of the wave there. And everyone's fine and dandy. Whew. Sorry guys. I am just kind of catch up here. Whatnot. Strong damage coming on the side of Infernal here. That's Root getting on top of Khan. Khan's Q going to heal him up a little bit, but he's going to be down to half health here. Peek at the jungle here as Volibear is taking some serious damage, especially from that blue buff, which is definitely interesting, as he has already cleared the rest of his jungle. Some pings going down around here, around bot. Some visions getting cleared as they might be looking for a bit of a gank here. Unfortunately, that 1 vision clear is just going to do it for them, and they might be going and looking for mid. Once again, that farm lead going strong in the way of Sivir, which is honestly to be expected around here. Especially with Karma able to poke and keep them away. Darius is going to back. He's going to land a strong Phage right there, which is always great. Rakan trying to land some hits here. Unfortunately, he's going to get smacked back, and he's going to have to leave with that. Syndra landing the Q. Whew, the Q, I'm pretty sure QW. QWQE. It's been a while since I played Syndra. Sorry about that, guys. Hope you all are having a wonderful time watching this match. I know I sure am. Ooh, and the shockwave's going to be coming on with the side of Orianna. Syndra's going to have to QE away, and it's going to have to flash, especially with that Volibear, which could take some serious damage. Whew, that was definitely a good shockwave by Orianna, but unfortunately, Syndra is going to have to bounce off. But Camille's going to be catching out Zach here as he's going to be jumping away. Unfortunately, Camille's going to land the ult midair as his passive is going to pop. As Camille is definitely trying to clean up some damage here. She will not be able to get the rest of them. Volibear is dealing with their own problems as dealing with who was that Syndra down there. Damage is coming low, but with the strong heal coming out from the side of Volibear, he's going to win that fight and save the day. Meanwhile, it looks like Camille did, in fact, get the Zac, which, womp womp, sucks for Zac there, unfortunately. As bot lane and top lane are going to switch, going to different lanes here. I'm trying to keep up and trying to recognize what's going on, what's happening. I'm out of it, guys. After a week of break, I'm out of it. More pokes and whatnot is going to be happening. Looks like bot lane moving the top lane did not change much. But as we are just doing a quick sweep of the map here, and this Volibear is going to be clearing some vision and possibly starting off. Oh, but before we do that, some strong damage coming inside of Darius here, as Camille's definitely doing some damage as well. Getting that kill definitely helped her, but she's still 20 farm down. And speaking of farm, as we look in the jungle here, it's going to be a strong set inside of Volibear, especially with that 1 kill. Syndra knows you're hiding there, so stop hiding there. Ooh, the pull coming out from Darius. Getting those stacks of bleeds, slowly but surely, some strong damage. The ult coming out. She's going to make it away. Unfortunately, not surviving, the bleed being way too much for her. I was holding out hope there for a little bit. Ooh, the knock-up and double ult coming out from the side of Valpo. Rakan getting that kill in the end on Karma. And a double kill for the side of Rakan here as as the 2 flashes come out. And Rakan's gonna end up with a double kill. Strong, very strong for the side of bot lane. Unfortunately, Ezreal not able to get any of those kills, which sucks. But hey, the 2 assists and the deaths on both junglers are gonna come out very strongly, especially for helping Ezreal catch up and farm. But it looks like he might be backing off, and they might just be backing in general. Ooh, the smite coming out from Volibear. He's trying to stop Darius from taking more tower plates. That damage is just racking up on Darius though, but Zac is here to save the day. A little bit too late as Volibear is going to get that Darius. Zac is going to have to flash away, and Volibear is going to follow right after him. Camille's going to come in, and unfortunately the passive is not up for Zac, and Zac is going to fall down and unfortunately going to die. Fights happening left and right here, and strong damage coming out on the bot tower. Not quite sure who's going to do what, but on the side of top here, Valpo is going to end up with that Rift Herald, as Ezreal is going to take that, and it's definitely going to help them with their pushing power. With all these crazy fights happening left and right, the gold lead slightly leads in the favor of Infernal, but it might lead, starting the side of Valpo, but Goldie might be going a little bit further in the side of Infernal here as they get this Mountain Drake completely uncontested, especially with the death of Zac. And it looks like we're going to be ending up with an Ocean Soul here, which is always great and fun to see on this map, as I really do like the aesthetic of Ocean Drake, as well as the strong tank stats for both teams here, especially for the Volibear and the Zac. Those tank stats going in handy, especially for the side of people here with the Rakan and the Darius as well. Ooh, the flash along with the knock is going to land on Ezreal, and Ezreal's not going to have any support here. He's got to have to back away. Ooh, the damage is coming out too strong, but unfortunately, Camille's not going to end up with any kills here, as Rakan's definitely trying to chase here. Damage is coming out strong. Ezreal's going to land the Q, and he's going to get the extra damage as that comes in just for a little bit of support. Hey, if you're not going to get it, I will surely get it. Strong fight happening down there as bot lane moves from top back to bot. But Volibear is coming in on 2 low health teammates as Rakan is going to do some serious damage. Fortunately, Rakan is going to die to the Volibear here. Zac is trying to get as much damage as he can, but the Rift Herald was summoned by Ezreal, who is running out of time here. Unfortunately, it's not going to get any tower plates if Volibear can hold it off. Zac is staying nearby, though. He wants to make sure it gets through. Fortunately not, but he's caught off guard. He's going to get caught midair by the E from Camille. And unfortunately, Zac is going to launch out that ult, and he's going to die to Camille, who's on a rockin' 3-4 KDA right now. Definitely very strong for Camille, as they're going to get some more tower damage down here in the bot lane. Just crazy fights happening left and right. And the gold lead is even starting to waver a bit in the favor of Team Infernal here. Definitely an exciting match in general. More plates coming out for that Camille, who might be down in farm, but is definitely rocking out those tower plates. Ezreal is back, but the 2 members aren't too scared of him, as they already have the tower low enough, and with their own wave, is probably going to end up being first tower, and it is for the side of Infernal here. Definitely looking good, even though the gold lead is now strongly going in the side of Infernal here, who is almost 1k up. Darius all alone is going to take some serious damage, just going to have to back up, as he's not strong enough yet to take on 2 members, especially 2 who are completely outranging him, let alone a Sivir with her E. Sorry guys, as we're just waiting here. As a little bit of an update from Rich Rad here, as we are getting a little bit of cooldown and a bit of a TP from Darius up top. Unfortunately, he's experiencing some internet outages in his area, which is a darn shame. Love hearing from you, Rich. To hear from you again, hopefully even later for this match, or possibly the second match if it comes to that. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we get you back here soon. But as we're cooling down here, and no real objectives open to anyone. Strong damage coming out from the side of Orianna here. She's gonna have to flash. Orianna, not fearing that tower damage, is gonna flash. Is going to have to pop her 2 shields here. She's gonna make it out with a strong solo on to the Syndra. She's gonna get good at the back here, and that's definitely feeling good for the start of her. And now, as I've been trying to do for this entire match. I'm going to list out what we're seeing here. The strong farm lead going the side of Darius here, but especially with the tower plates and the kills going to the side of Camille, she's going to be feeling pretty good. Even kills, though, everything's going to work out just fine. Darius getting some solid tower damage up there on top. So we're looking towards the jungle Volibear, especially rocking that extra bounty of 300 gold. He's looking pretty healthy above that Zach with a strong farm lead. Mid lane is staying pretty even. Oh my goodness, is that Rich Rad? He's just popping back here. He just popped back into our Discord. Unfortunately, cannot hear him yet as he's probably messing around with his mic here. Hopefully you'll hear him in just a second. But as we continue going on, that strong lead going on the side of Orianna, especially after the kill. She's going to get that farm lead. Bot lane, to be expected, even though they're down at kills. Oh, and a bit of a dive here coming from Zach, coming from the side. Going to land up some serious damage. Unfortunately, Orianna's going to hold it back. And she's going to, unfortunately, not be able to get that kill onto Syndra. Syndra's going to get a shutdown. Meanwhile, Darius is doing a little bit of skirmish up in the top lane. He's going to flash in and on that Karma, who's definitely low. Karma staying too close and getting ulted. And the trade kill in the top lane for a double kill for Darius, and Syndra is going to be getting that kill on Darius as well. What is happening? One person goes down in the match, and more people are going to follow through. But it looks like Valpo is going to be looking for this Camille, who's all alone and surrounded by 3 players. She's going to have to play with some crafty maneuvers or just hit E. Fortunately, that stun coming out. The W is coming out. Camille's going to have to land on Valpo, trying to get over, flashing, charmed. In the meantime, Rakan chasing at Rakan and Zach chasing that Camille, but unfortunately leaving that Ezreal all alone, who's going to die to the Volibear. Same with Camille's dying as well. Nobody really wants to fight here, the 2v1 versus Volibear, but also they realize Volibear is rocking 4-0 and a strong bounty here too. Absolutely terrifying. About 17:20. Sorry about that, guys. Currently messaging Rad here. Always fun. Always a great and wonderful time. And it looks like the side of Infernal is going to be starting up that Ocean Drake, but it's not going to be uncontested as they try to land it in from the side of Valpo. It's not going to end up well for them at all. And after some strong fights here, definitely happening in the middle, getting a kill on Zach. Sorry, I was not paying attention the whole time here. But it looks like the side of Infernal's got to rock that nice second Drake there. Do some serious damage here in the mid lane. Volibear takes some damage. It's going to get caught out by Volibear on the side. He's already low health, but Volibear is just going to flip as he has the rest of his team nearby. But the shutdown is going to be coming out for Volibear, and Volibear is going to get taken out by the Syndra as well. Bit of a trade kill here, rocking 11-11. That gold lead is keeping even, but the shockwave coming out from Orianna going to delay some damage to catch that Syndra, who's just out and about with no defense to her name. All right. And it looks like they're going to force down this mid tower here. And as they're moving their way up to Baron, completely uncontested, still rocking a strong 4-man as Volibear is coming down. 5 seconds here till 19 minutes. 2, 1, and we're at 19 minutes now, rocking on as they're, unfortunately, Baron's not up. They're going to get that second Rift Herald all to themselves, which is a nice find. Danny, how do you do?
Yes, indeed. It's going to be that Nasher coming out. The Rift Herald for usage. Thank you so very much. I apologize about technical difficulties. I know. Literally, apparently, there were lots of things that were going on that were not allowing me to be present for this. So, killing it as usual. I know that I was away. But as we get back into this, you're going to see that Zach diving in on the top lane, making sure that there's a possible engage. But there are so many members here coming out from Infernal. It's going to completely take that tower down and allow this Rift Herald to still get some decent push and potentially get one last engage onto that tower for some decent damage.
Yeah, and while you were away, we were looking at the strong start from the side of Valpo, but unfortunately it looks like Volibear is going to be coming out onto the back line here, going to be hitting that Ezreal. He's not even going to stop to look at that Rakan, but as soon as he starts taking tower shots, then he wants to look at Rakan. Unfortunately, he's biting off a little bit more than he could chew, taking some solid damage as the Nard tower is taking, but unfortunately, Ezreal is going to be taking out that Volibear instead, as Darius just looks to be taking this bot tower here. He's going to take some solid damage from Camille. Unfortunately, he's going to get the tower here. And he's going to be turning to look at that Camille.
Ooh.
Camille realizes he's taking bleed.
Ooh!
In the slam
guillotine.
dunk.
To be honest, I'm liking that the Darius was there to specifically try and force the lane. It was a good response to having the entire team of Infernal in that top lane to really compete against it. But I think Camille really overstayed the welcome. And as you can see with that execution, it really is going to speak volumes now for this consistent pile up. Now 6-3-1 for that KDA for this top lane Darius. And the further this continues to go in Darius's favor, the beefier he's going to be in this late game.
Darius is, as I was saying before, that's definitely strong and prevalent here, and especially for Darius. He's started off some kills, and as much as Camille is going to end up with some kills as well, unfortunately, it's not going to end up well whatsoever for her. And as we're sitting here and looking around and waiting, we're looking at another tower takedown in the top lane from the Valpo duo in the bot lane. You know what? I'm going to stop referring lanes anyways. Some bot lane fighting going on right over here. Syndra's going to be doing some serious damage as Rakan's trying to dive in. Rakan's getting caught out in the end. Ezreal's going to launch out that ult.
Nice evade, too. Camille was going to look for an engagement, didn't really want to risk it pushing far forward. And again, this 3 versus potentially 2 right here as the Zac rotates down into the mid lane. Syndra's sticking very close by as well. So Orianna might get jumped on, is going to have the Zac jumping in the back line. There's going to be the hook going to get it. That axe with the huge opportunity with the ultimate doesn't get the kill, but the follow-up by the Ezreal. Nova getting that Q and executing to make it a nice 5 versus 4. Still going to retreat back as Infernal starts to stabilize and look for this dragon to potentially come up here in just a moment.
Always a fun time seeing Darius just go hog wild. And while this is still, while the gold lead is starting to completely level out, and even though it looks like Infernal's definitely having the lead here, it doesn't matter that Darius is strong and prevalent, and Ezreal's just getting some solid kills as well. This Syndra's staying a little far out though.
Yeah, it's a little risky. I'm getting very concerned, but again, it's really going to be Infernal trying to force this team back. They are slightly down. Again, very minimal amount at the moment, especially when it comes to the gold. They're very similar. This Ocean Dragon is going to be very useful, though, when it comes to that cooldown. There's a pull over the wall. Not expecting it. Sage has to force the flash here. And that's not going to be a good position. A nice stun to follow as well from the Syndra play. Stro keeping... Oh, but the back line might get engaged. A huge stun block by the Rakan play. Even though the ultimate comes out, has to flash with the Zac engage going to come through. This is now Infernal's match to just try and fall back. You get the Darius engage, lots of damage, nice shield coverage to delete it. Sage doing a stellar job on the front line trying to harass, but the Zac engage in the back line, allowing a lot of crowd control. There is this Karma, though, and the shields from the Orianna, keeping Infernal alive and getting the numbers advantage to now take this dragon.
It's just absolutely insane here. Both teams are extremely low, but unfortunately the shockwave coming out from the Orianna and the extra damage coming from Infernal is going to keep them alive, and it's probably going to end up with this Drake unless Ezreal's able to just kind of nab it here. Doesn't look like he will be able to, unfortunately.
And the True Shot Barrage not available to try and sneak it. Kitty going to have to run. You've got that. Look at just the utility of the Karma with the Orianna is being so heavily weighed in Infernal's favor in these longer extended team fights.
Oh yeah, those strong shields are definitely helping, along with the double speed boost from the alt E from Karma and the alt from Sever. It's insane how fast they can move.
And then especially if you are able to get that quick time as well from the Orianna, the activation on the area of effect, there is so much to get in and out of these fights. It really allows an effective reset if necessary for this team to look for a more advantageous dive, especially with the Camille and the ability to utilize, like I said, the environment to jump onto that Ezreal and really cause some problems.
It's just absolutely great and wonderful here. And the Infernal's going to be sitting on match point Ocean Drake, who's going to be extremely good for that Volibear just staying alive, which is a death sentence for the rest of their team. Because he's their main. He's running in there doing damage, especially if it's lightning. Bouncing off everybody. Darius is going to be... So we're looking at the bot lane here. Actually, Darius is just going to, be doing what he's been doing so far, and that's split pushing. And I mean, that's not a bad thing, especially not in this match. He's getting solid minion waves shoving in. He's getting solid tower damage as well. I'm pretty sure that almost all these towers, besides that first one in top lane, have been taken by this Darius.
And now that Baron Nashor is up, you see a lot of positioning there to try and counter it. Vision going to come out. You're going to see Zach, again, ironically on Zach, look to clear out some waves and maybe going to find an opportunity to dive onto this back line. But Darius is starting to group. I think this is a little bit of a better positioning coming out here from Valpo to look for an early pick, potentially onto the Sivir in the back.
And most definitely, it's definitely terrifying. It looks like, ooh, Rakan almost getting caught out there. He's going to have to W his way out of that sticky situation. It's definitely a fight for Baron Nashor, but it looks like Infernal currently holds control over that river right there. And as they're all grouping up, trying to get in.
Stun almost comes through. You do have the ice come out up front from that Syndra play. Can't really get anybody. Stro having to fall back and look for a reset with the rest of the team. And Camille just playing it up front, looking to get some vision as the Darius could potentially go for a pick with that axe to maybe get that early advantage, since there's 4 members of Infernal in this mid lane trying to force it back.
Yeah, and ooh, Zach not getting the jumper away, getting shut down. Instead, he's got to pop the ult, trying to get away out of.
And there's so much damage following up. The True Shot barrage comes through, but now the flanking position trying to get the Syndra. You've got the Camille by Llama looking for an opportunity to pick her off. Getting so close, the chase is there, and the Darius goes down.
A bit of a cut out here. Sorry, guys. Darius does go down, and it looks like Syndra making the way just fine and dandy in the end. But that shutdown on that strong top laner there is definitely going to go in the favor of Infernal here, as they're going to go and start that Baron up. Shields coming out left and right, and they can't contest. They can't fight back after that catch out on the side, which is a shame, honestly. It really is. And it looks like this is getting completely uncontested. That's a Baron for Infernal. And what looked to be a losing game from just picks in the early game alone is going in the favor of Infernal here, who's rocking almost a 4K gold lead. As we continue this match, farm doesn't really matter. Well, farm does matter, but it's not that strong anymore. But if we're looking at bounties, Valpo is rocking a 7-2 with a 150 bounty. And we're looking at Sivir down there, who's rocking also a 4-2 with a 400 gold bounty. She's absolutely killing it, as she's just staying in the back and doing what she does best, which is damage and clear waves. Excuse me, I am drinking non-branded soda, repeat non-brand soda, or generic brand soda. I messed that joke up. Womp womp. But that Baron buff is definitely coming in strong here. Definitely adding to that strong push as well. Keys coming out left and right here. We're just gonna keep shoving those waves, as the Drake will be coming up in about 30 seconds here. They want that mid lane shoved up as much as possible, and it looks like the side of Valpo will not be ready to take that Drake. But meanwhile, in the bot lane, Camille doing serious damage. Darius trying to contest with it, but she has enough speed to just get out of there, along with her E as well. But she's going to stay nearby, trying to just keep Darius up there, because she knows if he's not with the team, the Valpo is going to have a really hard time chunking out and tanking from all those shots from the side. As that can only do so much, and it looks like the side Infernal is going to be starting it up. They're not even going to pull it out. They're just going to do it right there. But unfortunately, Zach and Ezreal holding off on the side, but the damage is coming out too strong. Fortunately, Zach jumped too late. He's going to get caught out in the end. The ult from Ezreal is going to pop up, but the passive from Zach is going to come up. Unfortunately, flash coming over the side. It's not going to be much. Ooh, and a stun back from Syndra coming out on top of that Camille, along with the combo landing on top of her as well. Is going to force her to back off. But that's an Ocean Soul. She doesn't even mind the damage. She's going to wait a couple seconds to heal back up. Everything's going rock and roll. And that's another mid tower down for the side of Infernal. Might be looking to end this up. Oh, and Camille's diving in, trying to get some solid damage. Cute coming out, and she's going to take solid damage. Darius is going to chase Camille down there in the bot lane. And unfortunately, during mid lane, he's going to lose not only 2 towers, but an inhib as well. Whew. And bot lane's going to lose another tower as well, as Camille's just going to keep pushing it down there. She has enough ability to outflank that Darius. Doing some strong damage onto the waves here. Everything's rocking fine and dandy for the side of Infernal here. And it looks like Valpo's just diving right in. He doesn't care at all. He's back. That Rakan, but unfortunately it's Rakan. Fortunately for them, they're going to get another inhib. And another 2 towers down from the bot lane there. As they're gonna start making their way up top, they're gonna be looking for the full trifecta of towers here. Oh, they all coming out from Orianna, deleting. And as Zach's trying to ult there instead, Camille's got the back up. As Darius is taking serious damage, he's not going to end up with any bleed on anyone. Unfortunately, he's going to lose health and die to that match. It's going for a strong 5v3 as Camille's diving in towards the Rakan. Rakan's going to W away, and he's going to make out just fine. Volibear holding out, trying to blow everyone off as the towers slowly get more and more damage and destroyed by the minions. They're going to back up here, realizing that, hey, why are we fighting? We could just win the match here at a solid 30 minutes. And it looks like it's going to be going in the side for Infernal, Team Infernal here for Michigan B-League. But a little bit of a capping off here isn't half too bad. Minions finish off the base, and that is the game. That was a great match. It was an amazing match. Unfortunately, Rich Rat's having some more technical difficulties as the match continues, which is honestly a shame. I love casting with him. He's a great guy. But as we wait here for the next couple seconds, we'll go straight to your damage charts. It's honestly an amazing match to watch. It really was. It was a phenomenal, great time. Everyone's having a good time. Just to see that absolute landslide, even though Darius is rocking strong, the rest of the team, unfortunately, wasn't doing too hot here. And as we wait for a couple more seconds here, you guys will see the damage charts here as they pop up. I'll wait for you guys here. But we're looking here, it's looking pretty solid. As we expected, surprisingly enough, Syndra's doing the most damage out of the side of Valpo here. And while they have some strong damage outliers, we're looking at Zach and Khan, who aren't really carrying their own weight. While the side of Infernal, while they might not have the max amount of damage, all their damage charts are solid in the team. Absolutely solid, especially even on Karma's part, she's rocking some serious damage. Probably for a... with all the technical difficulties, I don't really know what I would call the best play of the match, but probably the MVP of this match, I would probably say that Orianna. While you didn't really see her landing too much because her ball just kind of pops up on the side, she was landing those ults, and she was landing those massive shockwaves on this against Valpo here. And if we're walking from us, I'm going to bring on an interesting one. Sorry if I'm talking too fast for you guys. But if we're going to rock an interesting one, I'm going to give honorable opponent. We used to have that, but now we have it again. Most honorable opponent, I would give to that, honestly, I would give to that Rakan. Rakan landed up the knockups. He did really strong, kept his team strong, and added some more tank for them as well. Mr. Rad, are you back here?
It seems to be that I finally am once again. Thank you, everybody. We have Mercenary literally dragging my corpse behind him as I just am trying to raise my hand with a finger up in the air saying, I'm okay.
You're perfectly fine. We're rocking at the end of the match here, looking at some damage charts.
I mean, honestly, for the segments that I was actually there, I'm glad that we saw some great gameplay overall, especially from that the early into the mid game. But again, we are going to have a lot more action coming at you soon. But let's just give one last little breakdown, if you'd like, here, Mercenary, before we go to a break. So I was hearing you say a little bit of the Rakan play. Would you say that that's the MVP of the day so far?
I would say that's the most honorable opponent. Unfortunately, they did not win. They lost in the end. But I would say the MVP of the day would be that Orianna, landing so many solid shockwaves during all the team fights, grabbing at least 3 people. And as we're going to be going on to a bit of a break here, up next we have from Illinois B-League, we have What Have We Kissed in the Alcove and the Waubonsee Chiefs. And we'll see you guys here in just a few minutes.
for hopefully the rest of this match. If for those that have tuned into the prior one, lovely technical difficulties. Hopefully we'll be able to fix that by my ISP. As we're going to go into this, it is Rich Rad here with the amazing co-caster Mercenaries. We are going to see Waubonsee Chiefs versus Loyola. I'm going to say this all in one go. What if we kissed in the Alcove? And it's going to be an interesting one between these two teams, isn't it?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And we're looking at some bans here. Looks like Alcove might have watched our last match because banning out that Darius very strong. We have the Cinnabon, also a strong pick as well, and the Shen ban, which is definitely. And as we're waiting here, it looks like Yasuo's gonna get banned out as well from the side of Alcove, getting just a blank ban from the side of the Chiefs here. Which does that mean they banned none?
I'm pretty sure that that's what we call sheer and utter confidence to tilt their opponent. We'll just put it that way.
And they're going to, yeah, they're going to be latching out here with the Lee Sin. And Alcove's just taking that none ban, like, all right, we'll pick Set, who's also an extremely strong top laner, as he hasn't had any. I forget. I haven't really read the patch notes all too much for this new patch. If you guys don't know, we are on 10.6. I do believe. I do not think Set has been fixed at all, which is pretty spooky.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a teeny bit. I mean, there's a little bit when it comes to the showstopper, like slight bug fixes. So that's what we're hoping to maybe see going into this. But regardless, Set, I think, is still in a comfortable place to be played. We saw it banned just the match prior between our two previous teams. And we're actually going to see a Yuumi coming out, which we've seen a lot more, not only because of the recent patch adjustment, but also because of some bug fixes that have allowed Yuumi to really solidify a position in that bot lane.
Oh yeah, the Lucian Yuumi is definitely going to end up really well. For Lucian's able to keep up his mobility, well, Yuumi's just kind of chilling next to him. But unfortunately, that does lose a bit of the pressure in the bot lane, as people like to say, it's going to end up being a 4v5 because Yuumi's just always going to be on top of somebody, but she's always good. But to see that counter out, we're going to have the Caitlyn and the Thresh as well.
Ooh,
a great combo. And the insta-lock Ord!
Remember when I talked about earlier about confidence? They first don't bother doing a second ban, and then they insta-lock Ornn and are just like, we got this, fam. We're good. But to be fair, though, you talking about the Caitlyn and the Thresh, honestly, there is going to be a lot of long-range poke from the Caitlyn and a hard engage from Thresh in this bot lane. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to play into this Lucio Yuumi as we start getting into that second rounds of bans where it's going to be Aurelia along with Olaf going first.
Olaf, definitely a strong jungler out here. Aurelia, they might be banning for the mid lane. Very interesting pick, especially going there. Might be somebody's main, haven't looked. And speaking of mid lane, the Orianna's gonna get banned as well. A strong pick, especially for that ultimate and her just overall team fight potential. But for that Caitlyn Thresh, we're gonna be looking at the trap combo, the Q coming out from Thresh and the trap laid down from Caitlyn for just pretty much just an insta stuck. And the Echo's gonna get banned out as well. Definitely a good jungle and or mid pick as well. And we're just going to be floating here to see what the Chiefs have next for us.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see Waubonsee and what they choose for this going into the blind pick to see what Loyola is going to try and counter it with. I mean, with the Ornn having a really decent engage from the ultimate, I would not be surprised if they had a decent follow-up engager. I mean, the Lucian's going to stick in the back, and there's the Rek'Sai. That's what I was talking about, a follow-up engage, getting that burrow underneath, really getting a large stun, and that AoE explosive damage right from the release is going to be very critical to try and synergize, and also that early gank potential.
And that strong and beefiness coming out as well. And it looks like they're going to pick a Mordekaiser going into the mid lane here. A lot of strong just damage. But what is this? A Syndra as well. Is that possibly a Set jungle? It looks like we were mistaken earlier. It's jungle. They Mord top against that Ornn. It's going to be, I think, a pretty even top lane. I do not know the Mord Ornn fight here, but I think Kaiser will stand strong against Ornn. And Syndra just a solid mid lane overall. Like, she could just push her wave and not have any problems going on here. 5 seconds. Ooh, and a LeBlanc counter pick.
I like this. The control mages right now still being a very relevant pick in the mid lane, but, you know, kind of cycling back to that Set jungle pick that you were talking about. Between the Rek'Sai and the Set, I almost feel as if the Set has a slight advantage just because of the grit. It really gives that opportunity to allow some great 1v1 potential in this jungle, and I think that's going to play a lot of value for the side of Loyola, at least for that jungle to jungle competition. But I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I'm surprised that the Mord Ornn 2 is going to be interesting to see. I think it's going to slowly go in favor of Ornn as we transition into the mid game, but Mord's going to have, I think, an early game advantage.
Ornn Mord would definitely have an early game advantage, especially the strong damage coming out. And as we're looking at getting into the regular match, we're going to keep talking normally. Ornn's definitely going to have a strong early game along with Mordekaiser, but I think Mord might have it during the mid lane. And honestly, it's just a whole kind of what if scenario. That's a very interesting top lane. Bot lane is also interesting as well. And Thresh really only has one target to focus on unless Yuumi wants to, ride freely.
I mean, the Yuumi
it
could
was a
look
Morgana
for...
ban.
Oh, there was a slight glitch in that in the pro drafts that we did take a look at. Yes, it is a Morgana. So we did see that actually banned out earlier in the match prior, and going to see it carry over into this. And the Morgana, I feel, is a safe pick when it comes to a lot of these teams. It's got that, Black Shield where it allows to prevent a lot of ability powers coming through. And since the ban did actually go from Waubonsee, to see that Thresh come out, I think is a really, really good pick, knowing now that the Morgana was banned. So you don't really have to worry about the shields of the Flay being deflected or blocked in the bot lane. So I think that was a really clever pick here by Loyola.
Definitely, indeed. And as we're just getting the picks fold out, the jungle's also going to be an interesting matchup. Anyway, Rek'Sai can be a bit beefy and also has the poke in the form of her Q, or his Q, actually. Sorry, I keep getting mixed up with... I can't remember if it's Rek'Sai or Skarner. It's more than meets the eye on that one. Hovering Nunu here, hopefully as a joke. I say hopefully because I've had the case where they hovered it and then picked it, and I'm like, well, that's not what they were talking about in Pro Draft.
No. They want to throw a curveball in there. It's really, really putting the caster curse to a whole new level. It's taking the entire dynamic and saying, I'm only going to make this worse for you. And as we see those last couple bans, like we talked about, the Orianna and the Echo going to come out. And I think the Orianna being removed is a really smart pick as well. The Syndra going to try and compete against it since the Orianna was banned is a nice selection. But this LeBlanc having that mobility to really dive around that Syndra play, especially if the stun comes out too early, it's going to be a great opportunity for LeBlanc to really counter that mid lane. So Momo's going to have to be extremely careful on this Syndra going into these engagements and watching how this LeBlanc path is going to be playing.
Definitely, indeed. And if Momo's able to land that Q stun, then it spells danger out for LeBlanc, because that damage is going to come extremely strong, because LeBlanc's a bit of a glass cannon when it comes into. She dives in, does damage, and gets out. That's her whole shtick. But if she can't get out, she's going to end up with a big chunk of damage on her head. And so we're looking at the match going up here as well. You have a little bit of a history with the Chiefs, don't you?
I do. I actually do. I went there as a community college student before transitioning into my NIU years. And honestly, once I found out this team was actually playing, even you yourself were kind of baffled at how fascinated I was that years ago when I was in the university, I did not know that we had such a team or organization. Now to see it grow over these couple of years since I have been, well, I say couple to make myself feel more youthful, but several years ago. Probably a decade now that I look at that, but let's not talk about it. Yeah, no, it's exciting to see how well the Waubonsee Chiefs are going to do here against Loyola, because honestly, Loyola was one of the universities I was going to transition to, so it's interesting to see the two. But as we do have these few seconds remaining, like you said, it's going to be an interesting play for this jungle versus jungle. I still think it slightly favors Set in the 1v1, even though Rek'Sai does have some opportunity of long-range poke and also the evasion with the burrowing. But we'll be able to see how these two teams go head-to-head here in just a moment. Again, it's Loyola. What if we kissed in the Alcove versus Waubonsee Chiefs? So don't go anywhere, friends, because we'll be bringing this action to you very soon. Hello and welcome back, friends, from the lovely brief break as we are going to see the Waubonsee Chiefs versus the Loyola. What if we kissed in an alcove? It's like I said, we were talking about this a little bit like it was like a Disney song, but it just makes me think of, hey, I just met you and this is crazy. So it's like, hey, what if we kissed in the alcove back? I don't know where I'm going with this. But
you started to make a song out of it. You tried to rhyme it together, and you ran out of words.
yeah, words
It's
are
a work
great.
in progress.
You
We'll
know,
have to ask them, like, you guys have a song?
yeah, I swear I don't talk often. I really don't. I'm being completely and utterly honest. So we've got this bot lane. We've got 3. We've got the Yuumi sticking with the Lucian. We don't really have too much engaged like we had the match prior where all 5 were coordinating in that top lane to try and counterplay the Camille. Not going to see anything like that today. Are most likely going to just stick to their lanes. Maybe going to get some early vision onto this this Tyler and Yuumi play, but the Penguins come out with the dab just for all of us to see.
Oh, we gotta rock that stab. It's always a fun time seeing that dabbing penguin. I feel like everyone has it somewhere on their toolbar. At least I feel like everyone has it.
I don't, because I don't own it. But let's not talk about it.
Whew.
We're gonna see
I'm gonna-
Rek'Sai though, starting on this blue buff. Gonna try and get that cooldown reduction again with the energy usage here. Gonna quickly try and take it. Got the assistance and red starting here for Set. And honestly, I'm not surprised, and I'm most curious to see if you're gonna have Set look for a counter jungle, especially with that early leash that you saw on bot lane.
Definitely indeed, but it might be counteractive for that set to be looking for counter jungle, namely because if Rek'Sai's nearby, you'll know it, you can sense it. Ooh, a bit of a dive coming out from LeBlanc, landing that early electrocute. I was about to say, as I knock on wood here, you heard, you sort of heard it. Can we not have fights every like minute? That'd be great. I was trying to keep up last time, and I was like, man, I want to commentate, but also like, death is around every corner.
Yes, it really, really is. I mean, honestly, it didn't help that I, vanished in thin air for some times here and there. But you've got this now advantage, like you said, but quickly going to be engaged on path, going to find some damage onto Momo. Both at about half health, forcing the pots that are available to both of them. And again, it's really just going to be, now that both are at half health, what these next few ability trades are going to look like.
Yeah. It's about to say here, top lane is being a little bit polite. They were just kind of farming up. No one really smacking any damage. Ooh, Seth's coming in from the side.
Ooh, and flashes out of the grab. Nice job on top. The Rek'Sai going to move in closely, but that try is going to give some nice coverage. Set just going to slowly move away. Skiko not going to engage any further, knowing that the Rek'Sai is there. But Rek'Sai is actually still staying close in the tri-bush. There's no ward there, so the Mord's not going to know that that presence is still there. Pegleg has to be careful here.
And a little bit of damage coming out down there towards that Caitlyn. She's got their main safe. But it looks like Rek'Sai is going to do exactly what you said, coming in for that Mordekaiser. Damage coming out strongly. Mord at level 3 has that W ready in case he needs it. Pop it as Set comes in from the back line, dealing some serious damage to the Rek'Sai, doing some stunning damage. Rek'Sai just swimming away as fast as he can, taking more and more damage left and right. Ooh.
If Ski can just land that ability, will get low. It doesn't get enough damage on that follow-through. The patient play was there as we rotate down. Tan Man also extremely low. Both junglers going to now retreat backwards. You've got the grasp from the Mordekaiser. Pegleg hoping to try and get some damage to still force this Ornn back. But at this point, no kills going out and a lot of reserve play.
Both the entire top lane, both flashes are down. Jungler still has all of their summons up and available. But it was honestly just like, oh, your flash is down. Cool. Then we have the strength, and like, oh, now your flash is down. Now it's even. It's going to be a very interesting one. Ornn definitely has a little bit more leeway as he does have an easy escape. Ooh, that damage landing on LeBlanc there.
The combination, like you said, it's huge if you can follow through on it. But now both of these jungles near that river trying to get the scuttle for some vision for that dragon. As the top lane continues to try and deal some damage, you've got Pegleg taking advantage of that barrier to survive through a lot of incoming damage. And slowly just looking to reset as Set tries to rotate down to the bot lane.
So that's going to go ahead and take that bot lane scuttle, and bot lane's going to feel fine just to push up there, have the lane shoving in. Caitlyn's not even... She just wants to force that much pressure that she has right now. Ooh, that's the new Yuumi skin. I didn't even realize. At least I think it is. It is. Okay.
It looks so pretty.
To be honest, I never like what they do with the book. Like, for any of the skins, I'm not a fan of. Look, I like the effects on everything. Ooh, that's solid damage heading on top of that Caitlyn. She's got to play back and safe here.
Now as the Rek'Sai comes in mid lane, though, you've got the collapse. Path going to find the grapple. Now going to try and get some follow-up here as you've got Skiko with that set, trying to get the follow-up to maybe get Rek'Sai taken down. The duplication coming out. Momo trying to collapse back onto Path. Can't get the kill. Nice coordination here from Loyola to stick through that engagement that started and lead it in favor of the Chiefs.
I feel like these junglers just kind of know where they're going to be, like where they're both going to be at the same time, because every time we see somebody try to go and jungle collapse, the other one just pops up just to defend and everything's going to be fine. And as we were kind of darting there for a second, that's because that Caitlyn's taking serious damage from the solution, who just, again, just has a Yuumi sitting on, getting that solid healing. And especially that Caitlyn being low, she's going to have to back, giving that farm advantage to that Lucian as he and Yuumi also back up, along with some serious tower damage as well. Lucian's
I gotta say that book looks more like a magic carpet.
It really does. Come on, Yuumi, you can do it. She unfortunately was not close enough for the W. She walked away. Farm advantage. Ooh, in mid lane, I was like 10 up here on the side of Sinja, 11, but shut up. That farm advantage is going on the side for Sinja there. Definitely strong as well. And Mord and Orin have kind of been swapping back and forth on farm advantage in the top lane there.
And you can see already those defensive abilities coming out by Gary again with that passive generating the scaling percentage. Now going to look for a dive. Decent engage opportunity here, reaching 6 for both top laners. So the ultimate could come out by Pegleg. Going to generate some help, but has to fall back. This is a dangerous position. So low now with a nice exchange from Gary.
Yeah, it looks like Mordekaiser's going to have to back out there, and Sinja's just kind of hunted down this LeBlanc, who unfortunately fell by the wayside, is not able to dance the dance. Mord's going to take some serious damage from Orin, though. Orin's going to land some hits.
Oh!
Pulling into the rift!
Going to have the ultimate come through, trying to get the outplay, managed to do so. Turns it the patient ultimate right at the end of it.
Whew.
Holy goodness, that surprising turnaround, and what an outplay here for the Chiefs.
We're not just over here, down in the bot lane, that's Lucian getting caught off guard, especially by the E coming out from the side of Thresh. A kill for a kill happening here, but Yumi's going to take that kill from Lucian on top of that Caitlyn, and Thresh isn't too scared of this cat. Yumi's just kind of, fortunately, Yumi's health is very weak. So if he lands an easy Q, that might spell death there. But in that top lane, that was a very smart move coming out from Mord, pulling him into that death trail, getting that extra damage on top of that Orin. But Orin, thinking last second, decided to pop that ultimate. And it worked in his favor. It honestly did. It's a crazy match, but as all that was happening as well, and it looks like it's going to be on the side of Alcove here as they get that extra Cloud Drake. And we have a Mountain Drake coming up here in another 3 minutes. As everything just kind of works out.
I mean, honestly, the biggest part of that fight in the top lane was just the timing. Like we were saying, honestly, for how well it was played using the Ornn ultimate, it's those split-second reactions that can really make or break a fight like that. And it definitely went in favor of the Ornn from Gary. And it's going to start allowing the snowball. But in the mid lane, you've got that combination, trying to get some path counter. There is the proc as well. Huge amount of damage. It needs to be careful of this set jungle presence.
Seth standing on the sideline, make sure everything turns out. A quick dodge coming up from the Syndra from the LeBlanc stun. Ooh. He doesn't know. He's taking some serious damage from that red eye. Mord's coming down to help, but they're just going to walk away. Everyone's going to end up fine and happy.
And again, that passive, when it comes to being burrowed, allowing yourself to see Skiko moving on the set, knowing that that pathway was going to be encountered. You got Path now looking for the combination, going to actually reset here, maneuvering out of the orb. Here comes the chains, going to lock it down, but does have to force the flash here by Syndra. Momo barely escaping as Skiko was looking for the follow-up. If the flash wasn't forced and there was enough help from Momo, that could have been a great turnaround.
But Set was on the sideline there, forcing that Blanc. That ended up bad for Syndra at the start there. If Set wasn't nearby, I'm pretty sure LeBlanc would have finished that off. Syndra diving a little too close to the tower there, trying to land that Q and letting LeBlanc just early access some damage. Set coming in, trying to look for a gank, but unfortunately there is vision in that bush. Ooh, bit of a little bit of an ability trade up there in top lane. But as we're looking at the charts here, farm is pretty evened up across the map, except for in that jungle and mid lane. Set rocking that early jungle lead, and Syndra completely controlling her lane because unfortunately, LeBlanc just can't dance with the Syndra, man. It's a
No,
shame.
honestly, there's been a lot of great positioning with the orbs from Momo that it's being extremely punished onto Path. And because of those first early abilities landing from Momo, it's forcing Path to play defensively. There is no real opportunity for Path to have the early advantage to look for that consistent poke potential to follow up on the reset.
Yeah. To be 100% honest here, I'm just sitting here, just kind of talking back and forth, and I'm always disappearing because, like, man, I've been talking for a while here. I wonder if he's wonder if he's gone or not. No
I
one
know,
shut
right?
me up yet.
No, you're good. You're good. We got it. We got it. I think we're pretty good on the internet. I can say confidently that we are 11 minutes into this, and there has not been a problem. As it, you're going to now see this Rek'Sai play, though, trying to get this Rift Herald, looking to pick it off so that they can try and get some lane presence for Chiefs in either, I would think, the top or the mid lane, not particularly the bot lane, since there's a lot of focus here. But Skiko might look for a chance to try and engage this. Gary quickly moving to give the assistance. And honestly, there's not going to be a fight for it. It's going to be a free Rift Herald to take, and the timing will allow a second one to pop up just before the Baron as well.
Yeah, that vision control down there in the river is strong, and unfortunately, the set is not going to jump over a Papa Ward on the side. Doesn't have anything. After all, he does have Sweeper, surprisingly enough, and it looks like Orin and Rek'Sai are going to get that Rift, and it's all going to end up perfectly well for them, as they might look for a possible engage on the Syndra. She knows they're nearby, so she's going to back up a little bit. And just back.
And just looking to buy the rest of those items, you know, it's going to be the Lost Chapter, giving that extra mana boost and ability power, especially when it comes to the cooldown reduction, allowing more output in damage, and even more so, just a lot of sustainability from that, you know, just restoring of mana per level. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to transition now that that's obtained as well to try and compete against the LeBlanc, who's already had it, because there's a 25 CS difference between these two. And a lot of focus, though, by this dragon.
Oh yeah, they're definitely climbing up as it's still Lucian, and it's still Lucian and Yumi, but the mid laner actually is just nearby. As it's 4 people now fighting for that Drake, they definitely want to get a strong capitalize on this Mountain Drake as it would help them. They're going to back up. They just wanted the vision. Set's still going to be nearby. He's actually waiting in the jungle. Kind of hoping they pop through here.
There's a slight advantage, though, here for Chiefs, just because you've got Ornn with the teleport available, whereas you don't have it for the Mordekaiser on Loyola. So this could be a very good opportunity for Chiefs to try and strip this away after claiming this blue buff and rotating back down.
And a little bit of skirmish happening up there in top, some damage coming out, and some strong hits landing on top of the LeBlanc, but she's going to back away. There is no stun as if there's definitely on the other side.
Bobo going to follow through, trying to land into the ultimate, comes out, a sliver of health remaining just by the skin of their teeth. You do have Path survive, and this is going to open up an opportunity now for Loyola to strip this away, despite the TP that could have potentially come through by Gary on the top lane. So it makes it an even 4-for-4, but there's no real need to engage it because they lost their burst damage from the LeBlanc.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, LeBlanc has to back, and that's getting me extra Drake. And we have Infernal Drake coming down onto the map as our soul of the match, which is pretty grand in the scheme of things. Infernal's just kind of good on everyone. Just the solid damage coming out from the AoE, just autos and abilities and anything. He's just a very good Drake to have in general. But we're looking at the gold lead here. That double Drake, they might be down on kills here, but that Drake lead is definitely strong, coming out almost 2k here for the slide of Alcove. His bot lane kind of evens up here.
And honestly, I mean, with how this is transitioning and the objectives really being capitalized on by Loyola, the kill count, like you said, is in favor of Chiefs, but let's take a look at mid lane. You've got that turret almost being brought down. Bot lane still has a decent amount of damage on it from Loyola. So you have Loyola focusing a lot more on the objective play versus the team fight and pick off in these fights. But like you said, you're going to see now that Ornn and the Rek'Sai collapse now onto the mid lane with the ultimate coming through, trying to land the head, but misses it and forces the flash. But there is still going to be a huge follow-up as the chains grab. Skiko looking for a chase with the Mord teleport coming in. I feel like that's a little bit too much committed here.
They really want to try to capitalize, force that TP taking too long as they're able to get out there with a pretty strong speed boost. But they don't care. They're going to 3-man that mid tower, and that's going to be tower definitely for the side of Alcove. That hook landing on top. Oh, and that LeBlanc, the leading set, who's too focused on the tower. As they get the hook on top of that Ornn, it's going to back off. Unfortunately, Caitlyn does not have any support here. And, well, fortunately for her, the wave is just about to die. For the side of Infernal here, they're just waiting in side bush, not realizing that there's a ward there. I wonder if they're gonna. Okay, they realize it. They're gonna. Ooh, the strong damage out, but the secondary ult from the Yuumi I think was a bit too much. Oh, and there's that reptile charge gonna land on that mid tower, doing some serious damage. Unfortunately, Mordekaiser tried to pull it, and that doesn't work.
Oh, trying to get the bait. The box going to come down. Lots of damage, but the heal coming through to survive through it. Tyler not going to get picked off for the assist or the kill. And again, we see a lot of kill potential and advantage and sneaking that one out with the Thresh, but there's still a lot of objective advantage. That really is the two different dynamics between these teams. Loyola so heavily focused on the dynamic of the objectives, while the team fights and kills are heavily in favor of Chiefs. And I'm curious to see how that's going to transition into these later team fights as a whole, because you have a lot more effective play from the Chiefs.
Definitely, indeed, and unfortunately, both of them are gonna have to fall there. A little skirmish on top, but nothing we've seen before. But Rek'Sai is waiting wing here, trying to draw in that Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser getting knocked up. Rek'Sai's can land the smite, and all the abilities are coming out. All the stops.
The ultimate procking to almost survive. Rek'Sai does get the output of damage to counter that explosive shot from Pegleg. The ultimate was a really good last-minute resort here from Pegleg to try and survive, but in the end, it still spelled disaster with 7-1 in the kill count, and just barely for the first time for Chiefs to surpass the gold by barely 100 gold, to be honest.
Yeah, barely. The gold lead is still tying up, and that just shows how strong Leota has been on this objective count, keeping that gold lead up in total. Instead of just going to be focusing on that bot lane tower, doing some serious damage. And she's going to take it too. That's 2 towers to the side of Alcove here. And again, they're, like you said before, they are strongly focused and they're rocking that. But unfortunately, they're just losing these pick fights left and right here. Because then you're looking at 2 bounties, a strong LeBlanc, which is no one's favorite thing. Only 1 death on that Lucian. Everyone's rocking some strong kill counts. Ooh, serious damage coming on the Rek'Sai.
Oh,
she gets hooked in mid. Ooh,
barely.
Damage coming out.
Barely getting that Yuumi to attach and heal through it. My goodness.
That was insane. Thresh could have jumped over, but he had no idea what was on that wall, which safe bet for him. That was still impressive, landing that hook mid. What do you call that? Tubing?
Burrow.
I call it tubing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, a lot of flashes committed to this. Skiko going to have to flee out, using the grit to get a lot of shielding, going to have the showstopper in the back onto the Ornn to try and take down. Oh, but now in the mid lane still, it's going to be Cyrus trying to assist that Caitlyn. No one being brought down just yet, except for it's actually going to be the Caitlyn. Tan Man can't survive. The Mordekaiser death realm coming through on the LeBlanc, trying to find the execution on that control mage, while the Rek'Sai still does some decent damage on the back line. Skiko gonna have to bail. Numbers advantage heavily in favor of Chiefs right now, and this is what we were talking about. Objectives for Loyola. It's gonna literally be repeating this over and over because it's such a strong fact, and Chiefs just dominating in this long run engage.
Yeah, they're definitely getting the kills out and whatnot, as the gold still stays even a little bit leaning towards Loyola here. But that fight was strong. That set definitely doing well. Mordekaiser using his ult to his advantage, but unfortunately it's not going to come out strong for them. They might be losing their first Drake here, as the Infernal's already up. All that vision has been cleared out of the river down there. And with everyone back up, it looks like Lucian's going to be backing as well as that Yuumi, and everyone's just trying to reset and get ready for this Drake coming up here in just who's already up. Probably Drake fight we're going to be looking for in a few seconds here, as Sinjo resets. Sorry.
Stretches are good, friend. Stretches,
Oh,
just get it
damn.
all out.
Oh yeah, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel grand. Ooh,
Ooh. I was gonna say Skiko needing to be careful with that. Of course, Thresh there with the lantern to pull back from that blue position does not manage to steal it. Gary in the open position going to throw the chains out here to try and just see if the enemy is looking to take it. Chiefs still playing patiently as they draw the dragon out from that cavern and dealing a significant amount of damage here. And I'm not sure if Loyola's going to have a favorable engage here as Skiko's going to look for the opportunity now leading in with that ultimate coming out from the
smite
Ornn.
coming down. Woo!
Nice steal in the back. Skiko does land the showstopper. Gary taking down one. Even exchange, though, as the Lucian's going to get picked off. Still starting to favor now Loyola, despite the loss of the Dragon. The numbers advantage to collapse down onto just huge damage onto that Rek'Sai. Triple kill from the Mord. Pegleg, despite the loss in the top lane and outplay, has really scaled well in the long run.
Definitely coming out strong there, and it kind of started out in the favor of Infernal there, but with Thresh laying that Q, actually forcing that dragon to come out towards the side of Infernal as Ornn was the nearest to buy. The strong damage early on coming out from that Drake, and they were out of smite. In fact, that might have been Set's plan, just trying to take blue off in general, but forced that smite out from Rek'Sai, kind of an oversight. So he did not have it for that Drake fight. And so Set just like, all right, you don't have smite. Let me just walk up 1-2 and smite, and he got it in the end. Not enough burst damage, especially with the rest of the team showing up, and they didn't want to heavily engage. And just the fights went well for them there. Something I find absolutely hilarious, though, is that Yumi died instantly right after that Lucian. Just, I tried to pop there. My lips are dry.
It's okay. We'll just allow that to happen. It's just, we'll change that to like execution sounds. Whenever somebody dies, it's like, and you're gonna see the Lucian going down here in the back of the Yumi. That'll be the notification sound effect.
Normally, my answer is we'll edit it post, but unfortunately, there is no post for this.
Because it's all live here for you today, friends. We've got 3 Drakes still going in favor of Loyola, regardless of the kill count. 1,500 gold advantage. It's slowly shrunk as a whole. There was the grandest lead of 2,500 in favor of Loyola. So Chiefs not just out of this gold count yet. And really seeing a lot of completion of items coming through. You especially have that Luden's Echo by the LeBlanc completed. You've got it also on the side of Loyola for the Syndra to really get that burst damage and AoE effect as well. But look at this counter on top. Might have a good chance here for Skiko to fleet back.
Oh, and it looks like Cisco going to take some solid damage here. Mordekaiser staying nearby, pulling the Lucian in. Yumi's going to be forced out as he's going to come back out with some strong damage, landing damage on that Rek'Sai. Oh, and the Q absolutely
the obliterate damage over 850 on that engage, especially after getting the execution on the Lucian, just stacking up, coming out of the Death Realm. But now the follow-up, you're going to see Path having to retreat instantly, Momo, but there is the quick displacement, not going to survive through it. Valkyrie having to completely fall back, and now this is a 4 versus 1, well 2 now actually, against this turret, and it's going to be a good opportunity to take another objective here.
And it looks like even if they don't get this turret, they might just get that Baron instead with the cooldown time, with the timers just starting to pop back up. Doesn't look like it'd be the case. All coming out from the side of Ornn, definitely doing some serious damage to Syndra, but she's going to get out just fine. As Mord's also got to run away. Ooh, the backwards pull, something you don't see very often. He pulled in front of him and walked through it. Yeah,
very clever play. Again, heads up play there by Pegleg, trying to just keep that distance from Gary because there was an opportunity of the crowd control, especially having the Yumi. Traps are there from Tan Man to also keep the distance. And really, there's a lot of coordination coming out from Loyola that I like to see more transition into their team fights.
Ooh, and a little bit of some damage there, trying to keep that Mord from going back and resetting. As it's going to be 3 versus 2 here in the middle. We're going to get that scuttle instead. They're like, we don't want the kills. We want the objectives. And the strong vision happening there. Everyone's just going to have to back up and reset. Again, another strong fight from here, who, even though despite being down kills for such a long time, had that strong objective lead. And so they're just rocking even farther gold. Slowly but surely rocking a 3k gold lead here. Strong damage coming out from Syndra on that Ornn, who's just kind of been rocking half health for a while.
Well, the other part the other part of it too is you see a lot stacked now onto the Mordekaiser. 5 kills going from an 0-2 deficit to a 5-2 lead for the team. There's a lot riding on that Mordekaiser's shoulders, and it's really going to have to be Chiefs watching where Pegleg is because of that just explosive amount of damage, which we've seen multiple times already come into play.
Oh yeah, definitely strong. And as the drag is coming up here in about 15 seconds, Loyola wants that Infernal Soul, making the deficit even higher for them here. It's going to be absolutely terrifying from that Infernal Soul. The trap wall coming out there towards that bot wave as it's completely blocking off their entrance. So they're going to be focusing on one lane and one lane only. And they're prepped and ready for it. They're hiding as they're diving in with that QW. Ooh, and everyone's going to be out just safe and fine now.
Yeah, the Yuumi barely escaping, getting a decent amount of damage thrown on top. You've got the grab onto the block, has to force the disengage, barely able to do so. The duplicate actually going to draw some attention away, but this ultimate coming now by Ornn, trying to see if there's a decent amount of stun combination. Multiple members going to get knocked up as the Rek'Sai goes into the back line, finds themselves in the middle of the box. Kai'Sa's going to now get taken down, getting very low. There's the follow-up. Great job taking out the Thresh play, but this Yuumi latch onto the Rek'Sai isn't going to be enough as Yuumi consistently bounces around. The damage coming out from Caitlyn is so significant with the follow-up by the Obliterate from Pegleg, just completely shredding the remaining health of Gary. The follow-up Obliterate, the Yuumi keeps that Gary play alive on the Ornn, and Tanman wants the kill, flashes for the melee, gets it under the tower, and the rotation back to Dragon allows Skiko to steal it away and present the Elder Dragon after this 4th take.
Oh yeah, definitely that Infernal Soul is definitely going to decide to play. Some masterful plays there. I don't even know if you noticed that set ulted, I forget which member he ulted, but he brought it down on top of that LeBlanc, absolutely decimating her. And now they have the Infernal Soul. It's going to be even more terrifying here, as again their objective focus is just so strong. They hunted there a little bit, but just masterful ults coming out left and right from both sides here, and it's a fun thing to watch. That gold deficit raising even higher. Spooky.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that right there, almost 2 completed items difference when you start to think about it across the board. You do have at least, though, the Ornn passive, allowing the Aura and the Forge to come through to help both of those defensive items for the Ornn, along with the Luden's Echo. So that does try and reduce some of the deficit that you see from itemization on Chiefs, and hopefully it can at least give a more favorable engage for this next opportunity. Most likely going to be near this Baron, since it is up and ready for a next encounter with some decent wardage now going to be placed out from both teams.
Definitely trying to look for this Baron up next. They want something to add to their roster. They're rocking 4 Drakes total to none, which is a great sign for them. Rocking 5 towers, and it's just, we're looking at a 4K gold deficit as well. It's looking strong, Loyola, as it looks like you're, sorry, the Chiefs. I completely blanked it. I was thinking the last game for a second there. They can't really stop them. They have a strong steamroll coming out from all those objectives. And again, while that kill deficit was extremely high earlier on there, it didn't really mean much when you have 2, 3 Drakes and getting towers left and right. But knowing their entire team's forced off, it looks like they might just be going to start it here.
Yeah, they're probably going to. They notice that the Lucian and the Yuumi is in the bot lane. They're very far away, cross the map. Now it's going to force the 3 members of Chiefs to really get close to this and try and compete against it. It's a numbers disadvantage. Giko getting very quick to this to start it. The smite is there. The stun comes through. The LeBlanc does get the steal on the Baron and forces the Zhonya's. What a play! Could not manage to prevent with the Thresh leash, and now the collapse comes through. You've got the Rek'Sai on the front, instantly going to go down, but the strip on that Baron is so important to try and even the score.
They tried to stop her. You saw that Q coming out from Thresh, and you saw that E coming out as well from Mordekaiser, but she just dived in, took it, and left. Something she's really good at. But with that one down, it's still going to be a pretty tough defense game for the Chiefs as well, as it looks like they're just going to get this free inhib here from the side of Leoma. But with no other tower push from any other side, they're going to have to back up and try to focus on that bot tower, which has the nearest wave.
Yeah, the angry inhib take was totally there. They were like, all right, we're going to just take your inhib. We don't want to deal with you right now. You stole our objective. We've kept every objective until right now. And you not only stole it, but you Zhonya's just because you wanted to get away. And it was like, all right,
I would say that's the ruin of a perfect game, but it's the objective game in this case, and they still do massive damage even without that Baron buff.
Ooh, the showstopper coming through, though, managing to get a significant amount of damage, but Pat still finding the counter pick, able to take down Set. Having Ornn ultimate come through in the back, trying to slow down Pegleg on this Mordekaiser, taken down to the center of the box, no escape available. Tyler still being able to evade out of that long-range poke as Momo at least takes down Path. There is still too much for Chiefs to try and engage further on. They're going to take their win out of that fight. Loyola's going to have to retreat and try and force a reset.
Looks like Loyola was a little bit too angry about that Baron loss actually going in there, diving a little too deep, especially with that set ult. If set ult at the action, pulling a character out, then that would definitely end up in their favor, but unfortunately that didn't happen, ending up 3 deaths to 1. But that's just another Baron buff down on the side of the Chiefs here. Definitely lowering their pushing power, but they don't even care about pushing. They're just here to survive, and they're doing a good job at it.
Well, and again, the Baron buff really tipped the scale when it came into that bottom lane fight. You already had the awareness from Loyola going into that engage under the tower, so really having to be careful of their positioning. And because of that extra Baron buff, it allowed this chance to change the fight in favor of the Chiefs. And now moving forward, Loyola's going to have to be very careful with that moving into this next fight, because if you can get another buff here for Chiefs to compete against this, especially with that Elder Dragon coming up here in a minute and a half, that really could change the entire shift of this match.
And it looks like Alcove here is just going to go right back to trying to get vision in the jungle there. They realize they still have the pressure coming in from they have the tower leveling up, and they still have the gold and the Drake. But as the timer ticks down, we're looking at about 1 minute here until Elder is going to be popping up. Definitely a fight. And if the Chiefs are able to take that, then that just might be a wrap for Alcove, because there's nothing much you can do from a true damage laser beam.
No, not at all. That 20% hard kill. You've got even that Might of the Rune King now upgraded here for the Lucian to give that extra engagement potential and advantage here for Chiefs as they near this dragon. You've got some early pick potential, but these wards and everything is going into this dragon in 30 seconds.
They are ready and they are prepped. They know what they have to do, and they're just waiting for it. But unfortunately, on the side of Leoma here, they aren't fully up and ready and waiting. They're just kind of chilling about as Yumi's going to be taking a free item here from Ornn. That's going to be an upgraded redemption here. Definitely a good one, adding up some more damage. Seth's trying to get a pick off on top of this Ornn. Once again, it could have poured in, but unfortunately, he's not going to stay alive. Again, he pulled it in the wrong direction. Ornn coming through. Ooh, and the pull from Mordekaiser is definitely going to keep that Ornn from hopping over, and he's going to have to flash over the wall.
Yeah, has to force that retreat. Can't manage to stick in the fight there. And even 1-for-1 exchange. So this fight is not over yet. Momo going to play aggressive. Tries to get the stun. Does get the opportunity onto Gary. The hook comes in. Manages to grab it. Gary solo. No ability to survive through it as Momo gets the execution. And now you've got Loyola transitioning back to the objective of this game that will potentially allow them to take it over Chiefs.
But it looks like the Chiefs are not going to be taking this one sitting down, as the jungler still tries to come up, who still has that smite ready and waiting. And it looks like they're gonna force off. They're like, no, you're not gonna try to steal this. We want this. This is ours for once. And they're gonna take it too. That Elder Drake is definitely strong with them, and they're going back and hunting for that Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Rek'Sai in a very difficult spot right now, trying to flee. More just gonna miss, and the escape comes through.
Moore's a little bit salty about that one, but it looks like they're not going to stop chasing. They're going to keep it up. They really want that Rek'Sai who's, faster than them and has some tunneling going on and whatnot.
I mean, you do have the set with Dead Man's Plate, who's got some decent mobility, but it's still not going to be enough. And again, now, honestly, it's going to really be Loyola playing this patient game, monitoring how long that buff is active for to look for a favorable engage, especially now because Baron is up in 30. And this is a chance to secure the nail in the coffin for Loyola and push the last bit of Chiefs.
Yeah, unfortunately, something that I wasn't too much expecting. Ooh, seeing them over there and kind of backing up. Good for you, buddy. Just stay away. Unfortunately, the set just kind of keeps on going solo and getting himself killed before the fight even starts. Luckily, it doesn't look like Alcove really needs them all too much, unfortunate to say, but Set is unfortunately not ulting the correct direction, instead bringing it into the team, doing some early damage. But it looks like they are not even going to be focusing on that Baron that just recently came up. They want that inhib once again. Since the tower in top lane and bot lane is down, doesn't even look like they're going to be rotating for it. They're going to be switching over to that Baron here. Full 5-man ready and waiting.
And Path was looking for a chance to dive into that fight. Did not choose to follow through. It was too risky, especially with this Baron coming up. And you're going to now see Chiefs look to try and contest here. Early vision, though, with that trap going to come out. And Caitlyn might look for an engage here.
Caitlyn waiting already. She's going up a little far ahead by her. Picked her off, then she would have been done for. Ooh, looks like Syndra's going to be doing a little bit of poking, keep them away. They want all the objectives. They got Baron stolen from them last time, so they want this time. So they're going to be playing for it.
And at this point, it's almost like Loyola just already knows that they've got the Elder and want to try and take advantage of it while they have it rotating down to this bot lane, going to try and force this tower, open it up to 2 inhibitors to secure that this entire team of Chiefs has to play defensive to even compete against this Baron.
Yeah, not much time here left on that Elder Drake. Unfortunately, not able to use it. They get another tower down simply just from pressure alone. Well, they're just barely hanging on here. Probably just a few seconds left on that. And as it fizzles away, they no longer have a bit of pressure that they had earlier is gone. And it looks like Chiefs realize that and they're ready to fight and get ready to combat. But they're like, oh, we had lost one buff. Let's go get a new one. So they're diving all the way down for that Baron buff. They have it completely cordoned off. They have all the vision down there. In fact, instead they're just going straight for top tower.
Yeah, the rotation here is really key. It's honestly just making sure that they can secure a Baron buff and force the entire team of Chiefs to have to play defensively now that there's 2 inhibitors down, looking to try and get a third here. But this fight could break out if an opportunity for an engagement comes through with Skiko playing up front, and Tanman could be outpaced with their positioning.
Blanc taking a serious amount of damage down there. She's going to back up and try and look for something else. But it looks like this is just going to be another inhib for the side of Alcove. Set really wants some kill here, but with the Infernal coming in, looks like we're going to have this fight start up.
Trying to get the stun in the back, manages to get Momo. The box going to come through on the front side. Momo at least able to take down the Yuumi, which is critical. The support no longer there. The Obliterate by Pegleg, and Gary now getting a hook, trying to pull in multiple members. Obliterate once again on the backside of Gary. So much magic resist to prevent that insta-kill, but it is still a significant amount of damage. Looking to now take down the first turret, the second one instantly after. This Nexus now open, cracked, and available for Loyola to pick them off. You have the last opportunity to engage, as the front line will not be enough for Chiefs to shut down Loyola's aggression, and that, with the well-organized play and objective focus, allows Loyola to take the match over Waubonsee Chiefs.
Loyola doesn't even want another jungle objective. They're just going straight for the base there after getting that LeBlanc super low and catching that Yuumi out there. Death out there for the Chiefs. Definitely a well-fought fight by both teams. It's definitely something interesting to see, and as we're sitting here looking at the damage charts, some strong damage coming from both sides, but unfortunately that strong damage coming out and that king as well it's just rocking. It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, the biggest reason, too, why the Syndra had such a significant spike is it was 16 stacks of the Mejais. That was just so much extra ability power towards the later end of the fights, making that Syndra play so critical to get that pick potential in the back. The Ornn led in for an opportunity for a solid engage, got Momo in the back stunned, but there was not enough follow-up onto that huge AP damage. And really at that point, because they could not bring down Momo with this Syndra play, pumping out significant amounts of ability power, it really just spelled disaster at the end, as Moore just kept walking forward and saying, obliterate!
Oh, yeah. And as we're just starting to wrap up here, because it's looking about 2 midnight here, or maybe actually it's a bit earlier over there. As we're looking here, we're going to start talking about MVPs. My MVP of the match will definitely be going towards that, I'd say towards that Syndra, who had a bit of a rough game early on, just a wee bit, and she ended up rocking it, getting a bunch of solo kills for herself, and especially with that ult and combinations definitely working in her favor. How about you, bud?
I mean, I gotta, as much as I would like to say Momo, especially when it came to the later game, I really, really liked how Pegleg in the middle portion of the game after starting to lose that early game, turned it around, find the opportunity, got a stack of the triple kill near that dragon towards that middle portion of the game, followed up with another double kill towards that late end of the phase, and just at this point was so beefy and could really compete and start actually pumping out some additional significant damage when Momo could not be close enough for a more advantageous engage. If Momo wasn't close enough, you saw an Obliterate come out and chunk multiple health values on the side of Chiefs that really just started to turn the fight for Momo then to dive back in with an ultimate and find an execution.
Definitely indeed. And as we're starting to wrap up here for tonight, thank you guys so much for watching these wonderful few matches of, even with our technical difficulties. If you guys want to join up, even with the current disease happening right now and whatnot, and everyone on panic here in the US, if you guys want to join up, please go to www.ggleagues.com to see if there is a team in your area that you're wanting to join up and play. We'll be here to commentate you guys because we love watching you guys play. And if you want to keep up to date on anything going on, as well as voting for what stream we're going to watch next, make sure you check out on all of our social media, which is also under GG Leagues. My name is Mercenary. I've been here with Rich Rad. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Happy gaming, everybody.